It's been 25 years since the first Titleist Pro V1 hit the tours, and I think we can all agree ball technology has come a long way since then. In my hands today, I have the brand new Titleist Pro V1s for 2025, and I'm going to give you a rundown of the tech. We're also going to play a couple of holes on the sim as well. But not only that, stick around to the end because we're going to put the brand new Titleist Pro V1s for 2025 up against the Titleist Pro V1 of 2023. Titleist are the leaders of golf ball innovation. They are the #1 ball in golf for a reason. So here's a quick rundown of just how they got there. They've had 1,700 patent designs go into the R&A. 34 of those went into the original Pro V1. 125 patents have then subsequently gone into the Pro V1 and Pro V1x. They've tested 2,500 different dimple patterns designed since the original Pro V1. And then each ball has gone through 90 quality checks, with the Pro V1 dual core going through 120. Now that's pretty mind-blowing when you think about those kind of numbers, and that is why the Pro V1 is as good as it is. Now, one thing about Pro V1 is each one is different, and what I mean by that is the stamping on the side of where it says Pro V1 or Pro V1x is different from generation to generation. So for example, this is last year's. You've got the little alignment lines on each side of the Pro V1x, but they're kind of obviously a little hollowed out. This year's one is obviously more black, more solid, and nice and bold. So if you are gonna find a Pro V1 that looks like this in the rough when you're searching for maybe your old Pro V1 from 2023, then I would say that's a fair trade. So with the Pro V1 and Pro V1x, you've got two brand new gradient cores. With the Pro V1, you're gonna see more speed, but not only that, you're gonna get better iron and wedge spin, especially on those approach shots. Now with the Pro V1x, it does have a gradient core, but it's a gradient dual core. Now what you're gonna see here is great speed off the driver, but again, better control and spin on those approach shots as well. So let's put them to the test. Let's play a few holes and just see if they do exactly what they say. Okay, so we've traveled all the way to Norway, to Lofoten Links. We're on the second hole here, which is beautiful. It feels like we're actually really there. But I've got the Titleist Pro V1x and the Pro V1 as well. 16 yards, sorry. So we're just gonna see how that spin is on those shorter approach shots. So 52 in hand, Pro V1x up first. Let's see what kind of numbers we get with this. Feels good, feels solid. Dragged it left. Spin. Little bit of spin. Go, go, go. Not bad. Also, that hole in the screen was not me, just an FYI. But you can kind of see spin rates are pretty good. Height, I've just changed it. It's obviously 25 yards, which isn't bad. From a pitching wedge, it's max height of around about 32. So it's about right. And then 9,000 spin. It's pretty close to that as well. I probably expect to get a little bit more spin. Looking at the strike a little bit off the heel. Middle of the face, I'm gonna get more. So I'll hit one more. Feel like that's a better shot. Sit and spin off the rocks. Ooh. So nice bit of spin off that. That was more off the middle of the face. Yeah. Height's very consistent, still the same. Spin rate's a lot higher. You could see it kind of rip back a little bit as well. And it was a little bit more off the center of the face. So hitting all the right grooves. But yeah, the Pro V1x does spin a really nice amount. You feel like you got good control over it too, especially on those shorter shots. So we'll move into the Pro V1 and just kind of see what the difference is. So traditionally what you would find as well from the Pro V1 to Pro V1x, with the X, you are going to see a slightly higher launch angle and more spin. With the Pro V1, it will be lower and a little bit lower spin. It's more so into that kind of the long game. But on the approach, it's going to be somewhat similar, but let's just see how different they are. It definitely sounds different. Ooh, bit of spin there as well. Drag that one a little bit. So, I mean, a yard lower, little less spin, still 9,000, still a good amount. Yeah, not too bad. Let's hit one more. It's the right distance, could be quite handy. Oh, hello. That'll do, donkey. That will do. So yeah, a little bit lower in spin. I flighted that one a little bit lower as well. But you can see the difference. Great control, especially over those shorter shots from both. Pro V1x, you're just going to get a little bit more spin. The Pro V, you're not going to get as much, but it still spins a lot, which just makes those kind of like those 100 yards to 115 kind of approach shots. You're going to have some great control over them. So how does the 2023 Pro V1 and Pro V1x compare to the 2025 Pro V1 and Pro V1x? Well, starting off with your 52-degree wedge, there's not actually like a huge amount of difference, if I'm really honest. There is maybe a little bit in the spin. Obviously, with the launch, the one thing I noticed was there was a slightly lower launch in the Pro V1x. But then obviously in the Pro V1, it's fairly similar, but with ever so slightly a little bit more spin in the 2025 Pro V1 as well. So if we go into the 6 irons, let's start off with the 2023. Obviously distances are good, spin quite low, but then that's what you get in the brand new Pro V1x in the 2025 model. You get more spin, a little bit more control as well. Feels great as well, really nice and crisp off the club face. Going into, obviously, the 2025 model, the one thing that I did notice was there is just that little bit more spin with that longer iron, which is obviously great. We want to have more control with those longer shots coming down into the green. You're going to get that kind of, that stopping power that you're looking for, especially with those longer clubs, which was really good. Not only that, ball speeds in the X and the 25, very, very good as well. But yeah, really liked both balls. I'm actually, as someone who plays a Pro V1, I really like the spin and the control of the Pro V1x, just with this initial testing. But if we move on to the drivers next, what I will say is this is where you start noticing a little bit more ball speed in each one. Obviously, in the 2023 model of the Pro V1 compared to the 2025 model, there was noticeable speed differences there, a little bit more carry as well. And then I did find just a little bit more spin. However, you got to remember, this is calibrated data inside. So when we do go outside, we will have, you know, that little bit more accurate data testing as well. But on the Pro V1x, one thing we did see was great ball speed. You know, a couple mile-an-hour difference in comparison, obviously, to the Pro V1x of 2023. And obviously the distances were brilliant as well. Spins a little bit lower, as they obviously claimed, and then a little bit higher, obviously, in the previous generation as well. Now, we are talking marginal gains. If you are someone that wants that kind of higher ball flight and that little bit of extra stopping power, Pro V1x is going to be a great option. There's more speed in this, there's more control, and I can see why pros are starting to already go straight into this new ball. Now, the Pro V1, absolutely brilliant. If you need that kind of lower spin, especially with the drivers and in the longer game as well, this is going to be fantastic. But one thing that you do need to do is make sure you subscribe, because we are going to be taking these out in the course and testing them around the greens, off the tees and fairways as well. And on that note, I've been James from Bunkered, and we'll see you next time.